That's just stupid. What am I gonna do with that? A non-car person thinks of a sports car or a supercar, they're going to think of a Ferrari because it is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. But I feel like Ferrari often doesn't get enough credit.
The 296 Ferrari is, I think, one of the most beautiful modern Ferraris made. Everyone knows how much I love the form of the Roma, and the reason why I bought one was because of that shape and its simplicity. The 296 is also a very elemental shape, but it has very functional details that really add to the design. The overall shape of the car, the rear haunches especially, this hoop section that's very reminiscent of the 250 LM, and little details that I absolutely love that are becoming sort of hallmarks of the Ferrari Centro Stile, like this very sharp fender line that disappears into the door, and these air intakes that are so beautifully integrated into the design and really sort of set up this rear wheel haunch. Plus, this door is very thick, but it's so incredibly sculptured. It reminds you of the side pod of a Formula One car. Everything about this car is very functional, but not overdone. The Assetto Fiorano package includes this special front air dam that has a little spacer on the side to help direct the air around the front wheels. And again, it shapes the airflow as you get to the back of the car, but nothing is very overt. There's not lots of slats and fins and all this going on. It's very clean, functional, and efficient shape. With any open-top Ferrari, I'm generally a GTB, a Berlinetta guy, rather than the GTS, a Spider guy, but the top on this car is also quite neat and has that wonderful aspect that you can put it up while the car is in motion, which I would never do. Allora, stiamo guidando una nuova Ferrari 296 con un vero italiano nato a Brescia, il mio grande amico, Signor Melegari.
Well, for the English speakers of the video, I guess I can act as the translator for this. But we're driving in electric mode right now. We're wafting along completely silent. You just hear the wind, and it's. When you think Ferrari, you might not think hybrid, but I think this is kind of the new exciting way, and we'll talk about it in today's video. There you go, there's the engine.
I just love that. And the fact that this is the most accelerative Ferrari ever built. Faster than a LaFerrari from 0 to 60. And you know, it's one of those things that a lot of Formula One fans, and you and I are both Formula One fans, have this problem with the current regulations, with the hybrid turbo V6s. But I think that one of the joys of driving this car is the fact that you feel directly connected with the current Formula One scheme, and I think it is brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, the technology from Formula One is essentially directly delivered to the dealer, and you can have that Formula One-like experience with this car. And I feel like on paper, okay, hybrid V6 doesn't sound that exciting. This car makes 818 horsepower, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I think what is unique about this car is the usability of performance. And we talk about sound. Yes, it's a V6, but being that it's a 120-degree V6, in certain applications, it honestly sounds like a mini V12. It sounds like a mini V12 Ferrari.
And it also is one of those things that heritage means a lot to me, and certainly to a brand like Ferrari. And you cannot help but think of the great Dinos of the 1960s with their unmistakable V6 engines.
Absolutely.
And the fact that, to me, this is a modern Dino. with so many Ferraris these days having names, the Roma, the 12 Cilindri, I would not, for one, have minded this car actually being called a Dino. I think it would have been very cool.
I agree. It's very Dino-esque. I mean, it has triple the amount of horsepower, but it's very Dino-like. It's also the we could talk about the styling as well. I also think from the rear three-quarter and maybe from the side profile, if you're focusing on the last half of the car, it's very it resembles a 250 LM.
Yes.
I think the styling of Ferrari as of right now in this time period is polarizing. I feel like because they are no longer working with Pininfarina and Centro Stile is doing all of the design work for the cars, I feel like people either like or dislike the design. I think the design of the 296, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful Ferraris that they've done in a very, very long time. The minute I saw this car, I fell in love with it, as you know. I think it's one of the best modern looking supercars that you can buy. And it's almost like it has this liquid metal shape design to it. Of course, a couple of good downshifts right there. But I think they did a really, really good job with the design of this car, and I think you agree with that as well.
We are in complete agreement. And in fact, one of the things that I too have some issues with some of the things coming out of the Centro Stile at Ferrari, and they mostly relate to vents.
Okay.
Vents and scoops.
Yeah. Just random things placed in.
Yeah, and it's actually very interesting that on this car, which we will discuss during our walk around, the fact that the Assetto Fiorano package includes some adjustments in the car.
Oh yeah.
For additional downforce, some active aero elements. And I think that actually they have succeeded very well in integrating those in a way that some other manufacturers who make sports cars in Germany, for instance, haven't done in a way that I think Ferrari has on this car. And I know you agree with me. Even though you're afraid to say it because the fellow members of your podcast team would have you drawn and quartered. One of the reasons why I wanted to take this drive, and we have to give a big shout out to our great friend Ernie Bach Jr., a great friend of the Audrain and the owner of Ferrari of New England, who was kind enough to loan us this car. He thinks for the day, but actually since your birthday's coming up,
might be for a month.
Might be for a month at least. But, I think that this is a car that is also a very usable car. You mentioned the word supercar, and it's very funny, how do we define today supercar? We had an exhibition at the museum a couple of years ago.
What's the super
What's
and
the
supercar?
super and supercar? Yeah. And this is a car I think that really can help raise that question once more, because if you just look at the numbers here, 818 horsepower, that's supercar certainly. But this is not at all a car that is difficult to live with. It's actually even got a reasonable trunk. And my rules, you have to be able to take a car away for the weekend if it's going to be a car.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's a sculpture. And entertaining, wow, is it ever?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that statement that the term supercar, I feel like the boundary of the supercar is just, it keeps getting pushed further and further forward.
And that is the thing, it's about the package. It is the fact that, yes, this car is optimized for track day use. It's slightly lighter, but most of the optimization has really come in aerodynamic management. With the under tray being done in carbon fiber with a little bit of a lip in front of the rear wheels to help guide the air around the car. The integrated automatic spoiler for downforce and for braking. Things that, when you're really pushing it around the track and hustling around to help you have the confidence that you have in the car when it's on the road like this. And
Absolutely.
it is one of those things that performance. You mentioned sort of the supercar envelope, as it were. It's been stretched. I think it's been stretched in two directions. There are cars which are designed for everyday use that have 500 horsepower now, and then the cars that are designed for a maximum push are 12 and 1600 horsepower cars, which is completely unusable on not only on the street but frankly at the track, because if 1600 horsepower were really usable on a road track surface, then you would find the GT3 racing cars and the hypercars using that much power. They don't have that much power.
No.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
It really becomes a marketing and a mental exercise more than anything else.
Absolutely. A non-car person thinks of a sports car or a supercar, they're going to think of a Ferrari because it is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. But I feel like Ferrari often doesn't get enough credit for the innovations that they have brought to street cars, whether it's the brakes or the Manatino switch. Every single car now, whether it's a Koenigsegg Jesko all the way down to a Hyundai Sonata, has some sort of mode where you can change the performance of the vehicle.
Right.
And that would not have happened if Ferrari didn't put that in their cars.
Directly in from Formula One.
Directly in from Formula One. And unfortunately, I think it's kind of the status quo to hate on Ferrari. I think that when you're at the top, people are...
You're the target.
You're the target and people are waiting for your downfall. But they have given the general public so many different things that are all in normal cars now. And I feel like they don't often give the credit, they're not giving credit for what they've given the car world, I could say.
I think, again, it comes back to your statement earlier about sort of the normalization of performance, that this is what we now accept as the basic limit. And I think now it's time for you to get a sample of this magic.
Excellent. ESC off and... No, I'm just kidding.
ESC off, license return, all that stuff.
I would say that's enough.
Yeah, that'll do it. When you think about 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, it's really remarkable. Oh, and from a V6, you know? So.
Oh, Donald, don't.
Yeah, that's right. Not gonna be mean. Not gonna be a hater. But it's also something that makes me feel very happy that Ferrari is reasserting itself in sports car racing, currently leading the points in the World Endurance Championship.
Absolutely.
And even in Formula One, second in the constructors of Formula One at this point.
Absolutely.
But it's something that, as you said before, Ferrari is always the target. Ferrari is always the model. Whether you're Toyota, Red Bull, McLaren, whoever it is, you want to beat Ferrari.
Yep.
And for some of the other supercar brands, again, they are tremendous vehicles made by great people and have a lot of character. But to me, if they don't have the racing heritage of McLaren or Ferrari or Porsche, to me it's just sort of assembled parts and numbers.
I agree. I also think that those manufacturers are trying to rack up championships.
Feel this turn.
It's
amazing how sharp the turn it is.
Well, it's also the minimal effort that is needed to steer, and I believe Ferrari has a patent on their steering that actually I don't want to say has probably been copied, but I feel like you were talking about Ferrari being the target. I mean, it requires minimal effort to. I mean, if I use a finger here to make this turn, On the camera car behind us on the Suburban, you'd have to turn the wheel basically all the way that way, whereas this is just, it goes through it pretty effortlessly.
And that's another point, you are far too young to remember this, but in the 1960s, the power steering on American cars, you could palm the steering wheel or drive it with a single finger. And this, you can do the same thing as you just demonstrated, and yet you have incredible feel and control.
Yeah.
I know that you have this thing about electric power steering.
I do.
Electric steering. But you have to admit, this steering feels fantastic.
This is actually quite good. And they've done a good job of allowing you to feel what is going through the steering wheel. So when I drove the Spider RS on the channel, I was amazed that I said that was the best electronic power steering I had ever experienced, and I would say that this car is on par with that car, because I can feel vibrations through the wheel.
Exactly. There's a little bit of gravel there. You feel the gravel on the road. Here you go.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's just stupid. What am I going to do with that? Well, I would do that every day, but
it's there, but you don't have to use it. It's not as if the car feels unhappy or incomplete if you're not exercising that power.
I actually want to see how it is in full electric mode. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool. This is when you've just done a ridiculous pull like that, and you want to just say, "Oh, that wasn't me, officer."
No. I can barely hear the engine. I'm going so slowly, sir.
And it's actually, I mean, it's not. That was full throttle in E mode. It's not.
It's not a Tesla.
Plaid, it's not a Tesla Plaid, but it definitely gets you going pretty well. Yeah. I'm going to immediately put it into qualifying mode now because I got bored with that. But that is quite cool in E mode for sure.
And especially for those times that, for instance, if you had this car on a rally and you're going through country roads, you get to town.
Yep, just put it in E mode,
and you're great.
What's also great for it's not a rule here. I wouldn't say it's not a rule here yet. But if you look at some of the European countries, London more specifically, where they have rules for city centers. This is kind of the best of both worlds, because you can still have that performance car with a great sounding engine, but you are not polluting the environment when you stick it into E mode.
It is precisely what the European sports car manufacturers had in mind, the fact that they have clients that live in these zones and want to be able to use their cars in them.
Yeah.
And you can. These are fully qualified to enter certainly in Italy, any of the restricted urban zones.
Absolutely.
In electric mode.
It's cool. You also got the shift lights right here on the steering wheel that come up.
That is an option.
It is, of course. Well, so is Apple CarPlay, as you know. But
Apple CarPlay is now standard.
Oh, it's now standard.
Yes, it is now standard.
But you had to pay for it.
Well, I did and I didn't. While I was waiting for my car, it was made standard, so it was built into the price. But then the delivery price went up, so it was sort of a wash.
Yeah.
But that is one of the things we do have to talk about. This is a fabulous car. There is no denying this is an expensive car.
It is.
And this particular example, with the Assetto Fiorano package plus some additional carbon fiber options, it's a $500,000 car. And it doesn't actually have to be. If you use the option sheet judiciously to get those things that you really want and frankly need.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of carbon fiber that's working for a living. Carbon fiber that's decorative, I have no time for it.
I 100% agree with you. If I had the means to buy this car, I would not spec any of the carbon fiber. I would not spec the carbon. It's cool, but I would not spec the carbon fiber shift lights. I wouldn't do the steering wheel in carbon. It has a lot of different little bits on the outside, the front splitter, like that. You and Jay were laughing about a buddy of his who placed a carbon fiber clutch cover over the pre-existing clutch cover on his Ducati motorcycle.
For lightweight.
But that's adding weight.
And it's one of those things that...
And you know I ate breakfast this morning, so I'm adding weight anyway.
Adding weight, exactly. Well, you know, you actually have to do the performance runs before your mid-morning snack.
Yeah.
Because that makes at least a tenth of a second difference in the lap time.
If I'm buying a Ferrari, the money that I would be spending on carbon fiber upgrades, I would put into the interior to make it really nice, because I mean, this is a really nice place to be, with all the Alcantara and the leather, and I mean, that's what I would be spending the money on. At the same time, if I were to buy one, I would do the absolute base spec as much as I can, so it's not that $500,000 range. But that's kind of the beauty of it, is you can make these cars,
make your own car
exactly how you want them to be, which is cool. And again, anybody can do whatever they want to do, right?
Well,
but
you know, Antonio,
enjoy it.
Everyone has the right to their own personal enjoyment. However, anyone who's watching this video, if you want the approval of me and Antonio, you'd better do what we say and approach cars the way we do, because it's the right way to approach cars.
Yeah, I agree. And subscribe.
And subscribe, exactly. And if you don't believe this, subscribe anyway to find out more about why you should change your mind. Well, Antonio, again, I cannot thank heartily our friend Ernie Bach Jr.
Absolutely.
For loaning us this wonderful car for the next 3 months, or for today. And I know that I've driven a standard 296 GTB before. It's my first time with the GTS and with the Assetto Fiorano package. And I love the car as much now as I did the first time I drove it.
Yeah,
Your impressions?
I
did you meet a hero that you liked, or did he disappoint?
I met a hero that I liked, and you know, I of course like to thank Ernie and thank you and thank everybody at Audrain for, you know, this experience. 27-year-old me told 15-year-old me what I'd be doing today. I wouldn't believe him. So it's a great honor and an incredible experience for me as well. And it's a little bit more comfortable than when we did the Mille Miglia together.
and my soles are still attached to my feet.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Holy cow.
Well, thanks, Donald.